With pressure looming for Pochettino, it looks like he's going to change to a back three to face Aston Villa and maybe beyond that. But how would that look under Pochettino? How does it compare to his time at Tottenham? And what would it look like in this exact Chelsea squad with the profiles we have? On screen now is an example of what we could see with Nkunku on that left forward role, Palmer in that right forward, Jackson up front, and you have Gusto and Chilwell as the wing backs. Of course, there's no Reece James currently, and Chilwell is basically the only left back option to play that high up the pitch. Then you'd have Colwill in his preferred left centre-back position. Thiago Silva has a lot more protection then, and Disasi at right centre-back with the two, Enzo and Caicedo, in the middle. This would still form the 3-2-5 that we wanted to see in possession. So you'd still see that back three formed. You'd still have Enzo and Caicedo hopefully playing closer together in this system as well, because it would be a bit more forced that they play closer together due to them being the only two people in the pivot. Then you would have Gusto and Chilwell really providing the width on the outsides, and Nkunku and Palmer in those half spaces, which is where they both excel. They can both have a bit more leniency to drift off the ball, and then Jackson, who can make runs not only centrally but also in the channels, and that would be very helpful to get the team forward as well. This is similar to how Pochettino used his Tottenham team. This is from an article I did when Pochettino first joined, and you can also go back and watch a video on my channel about Pochettino's philosophy and his tactics and things from Tottenham and how I thought it might transport into Chelsea. It's not necessarily worked as well as I thought it might just for the time being. As I said, I do think he's a part-time manager. I think he was always going to be the manager before the actual winning manager that they want to appoint that fits the group, but I thought it would look a little bit better than it does. And anyway, this is how he used to set up, obviously in that 4-2-3-1, but it would form that 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3 that we're speaking about with Chelsea as well. So you'd have those three centre-backs. Usually it was Dyer who would drop in between as a half-back, but if we started a back three, obviously that would already be formed. Then you'd have the pivot. Eriksen would usually drop in and be the creative man in the pivot. So that would be Enzo in this case. So you'd have Enzo and Caicedo sort of in that Dembele and Eriksen role. Your two fullbacks providing lots of width, Chilwell, Gusto. Here you had Walker and Rose. And then you have your two inside forwards. So in this case, it was Dele Alli and Son with Kane up front. Obviously, there's a little bit less in our forward line, but the likes of Nkunku and Palmer are very good inside forwards, and Jackson can do a job running the line, and he can also create a lot of space with runs in behind for Nkunku and Palmer to move and drift centrally. Jackson's ability to curve out wide, pick up runs in the channel, that would allow Nkunku to drift into the middle and look like the main number 9 at points, of course, but he can then do that as a shadow striker rather than being the absolute focal point as the 9. So that would be better for him and better for Jackson. It would be better for everybody involved. The way I see this, it's definitely worth a go going to this 3-4-3. It offers a lot more stability for the team. It protects Thiago Silva, hopefully stops the goals leaking, and it can buy Chelsea a bit of time to try and get some results on the board and buy time whilst they look for that next manager that they're looking for beyond Poch. Even if Poch turned it round and we won the League Cup final, I don't think it's going to be enough to keep his job at this point. I think there's been too much turmoil. I think this summer there will be a change, but I think they want to bide their time on looking for that change. So if we can get a few results in the meantime, calm the storm until the summer, and this might be the way to do it. So hopefully we go to a 3-4-3 and we get a few big results just to calm and weather that storm, stop the critics, and just try and see our way to the summer where we can make some big changes that change not only some of the personnel, some of the backroom team, and just hopefully have a full rebrand ready to build with this young squad and be ready to challenge, or at least build towards challenging in the future.